You will hear a recording about the restoration of a historic railway line. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 20. Now, listen carefully and answer question 11 to 20.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's talk about the remarkable transformation of the Westmoreland Heritage Railway. My name's Richard Holloway, and I've been the project coordinator for this ambitious undertaking since 2018. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the line, the Westmoreland Railway originally opened in 1892, connecting the market town of Millbrook with the coastal village of St. Anne's, a distance of roughly 34 kilometers. It was primarily built to transport agricultural produce inland, though passenger services began 3 years later in 1895. The line operated successfully for nearly 8 decades until controversial closure in 1973 under the beaching cuts, despite vigorous local opposition. For the following quarter century, the trackbed lay abandoned, gradually succumbing to nature. Bridges crumbled, tunnels flooded, and the once proud stations became targets for vandalism. The restoration journey began quite unexpectedly in 1998 when a local historian, Margaret Chen, discovered original engineering drawings in the county archives. These blueprints proved invaluable, revealing construction techniques that had been considered lost. However, the actual physical work didn't commence until 2005, following a protracted legal battle to secure land ownership rights from no fewer than 47 different private landowners and 3 local authorities. The first phase concentrated on the southern section between St. Anne's and the intermediate station at Thwaitebridge, a modest 12-kilometer stretch. This opened to the public in 2011, though initially only on weekends and bank holidays. What visitors experience today is actually the result of Phase 2, completed in 2019, which extended services northward to Millbrook, reinstating the full original route. Now, I'd like to highlight some distinctive features you'll encounter along the journey. Departing from St. Anne's, the train immediately enters the Black Rock Cutting, a dramatic excavation through solid granite completed by Victorian navvies using nothing more sophisticated than dynamite and manual labor. The cutting is home to several rare fern species, which our ecology team monitors carefully. Approximately 8 minutes into the journey, you'll cross the spectacular Eldon Viaduct. This engineering marvel comprises 11 arches spanning the River Eldon Valley. During restoration, we discovered that 2 arches had suffered severe structural degradation due to water infiltration. Rather than modern concrete, we employed traditional lime mortar techniques, matching the original 1892 specifications exactly. The project took 14 months, 4 months longer than anticipated due to unprecedented rainfall in 2016. The next significant landmark is Thwaitebridge Station itself, which we've transformed into more than merely a stopping point. The original station building was unfortunately demolished in 1985, but we've reconstructed it using reclaimed materials from a demolished Victorian school in Yorkshire. It now houses our Railway Heritage Center, containing over 400 artifacts donated by local families. Of particular note is the signal box, completely restored to operational condition using components salvaged from 3 different decommissioned lines across the country. Beyond Thwaitebridge, the landscape changes dramatically as we enter the Westmoreland Moors. This section presented our greatest engineering challenge, the 1.8-kilometer Longshaw Tunnel. When we first inspected it in 2006, the bore was completely flooded to a depth of 12 meters, with the roof partially collapsed in 3 locations. Pumping operations alone consumed 11 months. We subsequently installed a sophisticated drainage system that channels water into the adjacent Millbrook Reservoir, actually augmenting the town's water supply rather than creating waste. The tunnel's interior features something rather unusual: Victorian ventilation shafts that were sealed during the Second World War as a precaution against potential chemical attacks. We've reopened two of these, creating dramatic shafts of natural light that illuminate the tunnel's dripping walls. The temperature inside remains a constant 8 degrees Celsius year-round, regardless of external conditions, which creates fascinating atmospheric effects, particularly in autumn when warm external air meets the tunnel's chill. As we approach Millbrook, the line descends through ancient woodland designated as a site of special scientific interest. Here, we've had to implement stringent operational protocols. Trains must reduce speed to 15 miles per hour, and during bird nesting season, March through July, services are restricted to 4 daily departures rather than the usual 8. This compromise was reached after extensive consultation with Natural England and the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. Millbrook Terminus represents perhaps our most faithful restoration achievement. The original 1992 station building survived remarkably intact, though it served as a farmer's storage barn for 30 years. We've retained the original slate roof, repaired the cast iron canopy, and reinstated the authentic platform surfaces using reclaimed Pennine flagstones. The booking office now functions as our administrative headquarters, featuring original Victorian ticket windows and a working mechanical cash register from 1903. Looking ahead, we're currently developing Phase 3 plans, though these face considerable obstacles. We aim to extend the line a further 8 kilometers to reconnect with the national network at Calderbridge Junction. However, this requires replacing a level crossing that was asphalted over in 1989, and negotiations with Network Rail regarding safety standards have proven extraordinarily complex. We anticipate this extension won't open before 2028 at the earliest. Our operational fleet currently consists of 4 locomotives, though only 3 are certified for passenger service. Our workhorse is a 1952 BR Standard Class 4-tank engine, affectionately named Pendlewitch. We also operate a remarkable 1937 German-built diesel locomotive, originally constructed for industrial use in the Ruhr Valley, which was discovered rusting in a Portuguese quarry and shipped back to England in 40 separate container loads. The restoration consumed 11,000 volunteer hours over 6 years. For those interested in supporting our work, we offer various volunteer opportunities. Our midweek maintenance teams always require additional hands, no prior railway experience necessary, as comprehensive training is provided. We particularly need assistance with vegetation management, as our line-side clearance requirements consume enormous resources. Alternatively, our Friends of the Railway membership scheme provides unlimited travel and exclusive access to behind-the-scenes areas normally closed to the public. Before concluding, I should mention our special events program. The highlight is undoubtedly our annual 1940s weekend each September, when the entire railway transforms with period decorations, reenactors in authentic costume, and specially chartered trains featuring restored wartime carriages. Last year's event attracted over 8,000 visitors across 3 days. We also operate Santa specials throughout December. These sell out within hours of tickets releasing, so advance booking is absolutely essential. Finally, practical information for your visit. The standard return fare from St. Anne's to Millbrook is $24 for adults, with concessions at $18. However, we offer a Rover ticket at $28, permitting unlimited travel throughout the operating day. Excellent value if you wish to disembark at intermediate stations. Dogs are welcome at no additional charge, provided they remain on leads. The entire route is unfortunately unsuitable for standard wheelchairs due to the vintage carriage designs, though we can accommodate folding wheelchairs in the guard's van with prior notification.
That is the end of the test. You now have half a minute to check your answers.